PNP will probably spend more money on throwing a party for them, when I'll prefer to spend more money on getting money for them to go into business and paying them better salaries when they're working for the government, and spending money with ensuring that I put resources behind them to make sure that their businesses are successful, making sure that we create the right climate for them to be successful. It's a matter of where that money gets spent. But rest assured, we'll spend as much or more on the young people as this government, because I don't believe that this government has spent money on young people. You look at the youth budget, what they spent for the youth department. It's pittance. I can't remember the number, but as far as I can recall, they've been spending less than $500,000 a year on youth, when we're spending almost $7 million on the premier. They've been. You look at the activities that we've been having for youth in terms of sports and all the other activities, and even with education and with scholarships. As much as they've spent, or they've purported to spend on education, there's still Turks and Caicos Islanders out there that have not had the opportunity to go to school, and largely because of political reasons. We've made it clear over the years that our scholarship policy is a simple one. Every child that wants to study will get an opportunity to study. So that word "every" includes everybody. It includes every Turks and Caicos Islander from wherever you are in the country. You will get your opportunity to study. All we will require is that you maintain good grades and that you earn your right to stay there. But everyone, and that has been, and this is just an enhancement on what was before, because before, the previous PDM administration had a 2+2 program where they said you go to the community college, you earn your degree, and we guarantee you a scholarship to go off to do your bachelor's. That's been there. What we're saying is just an expansion on that we're giving every child, every single child, an opportunity to study. The Minister of Education, he had myself and the former deputy on education and you before, and we outlined some of our education policy, and he took some of that and included that in his inaugural speech. But we still don't have proper preschools throughout all of our country. We still don't have funding being made available to make sure that every teacher that's at a primary school has the opportunity to earn a bachelor's. We don't have the money that's specifically dedicated to ensure that everyone at the high school that wants to study can earn a master's. We still don't have the initiative and the money put behind education to make sure that everyone at the college has a PhD. We still don't have dedicated money available through TC Invest or the formation of our development board to make sure that young people that want to go into business get access to money. The only bright future, only government that's going to ensure a bright future for our people has to be the People's Democratic Movement.
Is something that has to be highlighted, in that there is a perception among the young people that the PNP government spends more money than the PDM. Now, it is unfortunate that during the 4 years of the PNP administration, the people's opposition didn't have the kind of access to the media to educate the young people. And as a result of that, it is unfortunate that not only the young people, but we all, those of us who were naive, had to learn the hard way that when you spend money that you don't have, when you spend money that you didn't make, that you inherited because of the policies of the former PDM government, and you were under the misconception that that money was coming just like that. then when reality sinks in and we have a situation where weekly people cannot now get paid, where some investor every other month has to provide money for salaries, where there are millions of dollars, record-breaking millions of dollars in overdraft, millions of dollars in deficits, hundreds of millions of dollars in national debt, where the economy is totally devastated, I think then that people will begin to appreciate that when you run a government and when you run a country, you have to be prudent, you have to plan, and you cannot spend more than you make. And unfortunately, not only the young people, but there were some adults who are unfortunately learning the hard way that the PDM was a government that had prudent policies, and we planned and we saved, and now we are able to see where that was necessary. And as I said before, and I must have used this word at least 3 times already, but unfortunately, we all had to see the effects of a government that don't plan, a government that engages in wasteful spending, a government that thinks money falls from the sky and does not understand that you have to plan to make money, you have to bring in initiatives, and you have to be resourceful. And if you look at, for example, at the tourism budget, you know, what we used to spend per head to get a tourist here has been inflated so much that you wonder where all these tens of millions of dollars are now going when we don't have the tourists coming in that we used to at the ratio of the dollar that we spent. Those are the problems that we are faced with. The economy is totally out of whack. And these same young people that you're talking about now waking up and realizing that some of them cannot pay for the banknote for the car at the end of the month. They can't afford the gas for the vehicle. And some of them are moving back home with their parents because they can't afford an apartment. And those who have taken on mortgages, finding now that it is becoming more difficult to pay those mortgages. And so we have a situation where the entire deck of cards are crumbling down daily. And I think again, it's unfortunate that this is what had to happen for these young people to realize that, life isn't just like that. It's not reality. And we would educate the young people so that we can teach them how to be prudent in spending, how to save, how to be, how to make the most of what they have. Because not only does the national government have to engage in those policies, but we have to teach our people those policies as well, because now with inflation, with inflation in the U.S., the problem has been exacerbated, and so what are we going to do? We have one choice, and that is to bring a prudent, capable government, a party to power, and there is only one. There's always ever been only one, the People's Democratic Movement. Every single time the PNP got in office, left office, this is documented history. They've left the government in grant and aid, or they've left the government in some disgraceful situation. Now we're at a situation where we see the premier going island-wide, obviously campaigning.